How you doing today, guys? I know it's been a long time. Hopefully you guys had a good holiday rest. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff, personal stuff. Don't want to start off the video on a bummer, but I know a lot of people do actually care about me personally and my family. Had a loss of a good friend slash my supervisor. Yeah. Kind of felt like a brother. Known him for over 10 years. And known his kid from since he was about 8 years old. Now he's 18 years old, and we just lost him way too early. He was barely 40, so kind of a bummer. Yeah, I might do another video on that, although I might just stay very personal with that. But way too early. 40 is way too early. But all right. So what are we looking at today? This is a kind of a goof. Trader Joe sent this to me. Please check out his channel. He's a great guy. Really, I love the knife community for people like Trader Joe. And there's hundreds and hundreds of them out there who are just awesome people. A lot of you guys that watch my channel, you know, it's just nothing but support and love. I appreciate it. I really do. So anyways, Joe seen this on the ground when he was walking his dog, which is more than a dog. It's like his child. But anyways, an awesome little, I think it's a Boston Terrier. Just a beautiful dog. You can see him on Instagram. But walking his dog and found this on the ground. Now, does this look like it was accidentally destroyed or fell out of somebody's pocket on the highway and got ran over 1,000 times and somebody threw it out? Or I don't know the story on it. But it almost looks intentionally destroyed. And I say that because it looks like it was ran over a bunch of times. Joe found these parts, must have been close to each other. Maybe he'll chime in and let us know what the story was on it. But kind of sent it to me. The reason why I say it barely looks like the coating has any scratches on it at all. But the tips broke off. But was it ran over with the tip like this? And then when it got ran over, it broke the tip. Whatever. I am not a CSI investigator. That's not what you guys are watching. What I want to do is see if we can make this knife functional again. Make a nice little beater knife. I'm kind of in the minority who thinks serrated edge, partially serrated edge, is pretty useful. If you can keep them sharp, I like them. I don't prefer them. Like, I would prefer a full serrated edge over partially serrated, but I don't mind it, especially for a work knife. That's going to be a little bit tough to clean up, but I don't think I'm going to take off a bunch of edge here. That'll be for another video. And then to fix this tip, that'll be for another video too, but I'm just going to bring this top down just a little bit here. I'm not going to bring this bottom up. I'll bring the top down. Take away a little bit of that hump, create the point again. And we're not looking for a show knife. I'm not going to sandblast this or acid wash the blade or anything. I'm just going to repair it. And I have an extra set of scales from when we made this bad boy. Right? The Wilkins full size. So I have a whole extra set here. And I'm looking. So with this conversion, it comes with that screw. No, you have to use that's factory and that's factory, and everything else is made by Wilkins. So this is all we have here. But it seems like it works out perfectly. We're missing that screw, this one has that. Missing that screw, this one has that. We're missing the pivot because it's in this knife. This has the pivot, all the guts, all the liner. Nothing looks like it was harmed on the liner. Even looks like the blade center's up. Surprisingly, lockup is still beautiful. So we're going to make a knife out of it. And we have a handle, the clip here, and we also have extra clip screws here. I'll probably put the new ones back on this beater, not use these, because Wilkins actually provides you a set of screws. So anyways, let's get to it. This might be a longer video if you haven't already looked at the runtime. I have no idea shooting this video how long it's going to be, but I'm going to bring you guys all the way through with no edits. So we're going to see. I imagine this was sitting outside for a while. We probably have some rust issues going on inside the pivot area. If I had to guess, you know, this thing was clearly ran over and very neglected until Joe, like a good Samaritan, decided to pick it up and see if it could be salvaged. Maybe I'll beat up on this knife for a little bit and send it back to you, Joe. Just for fun. Be kind of cool. So let's take that pivot out. The pivot looks like it's got all kinds of asphalt and stuff smashed inside of it. Here is the scale. Looks like it's not coated all the way through. It looks like it's a Duracoat or something on the outside of it. Which is funny. I would just assume some sort of fiberglass reinforced nylon material, whatever this is. They don't call it FRN, but I'm sure this is not just standard plastic. Some of you Benchmade experts might be able to tell us. Look how Benchmade inserts the barrels inside there, so this is not threaded into plastic or whatever material you want to call that. Let's get this pivot out. Doesn't look like we have too many rust issues. And I wonder if this just fell out of somebody's work truck or fell out of their pocket and they didn't realize it until it was ran over a few times or something. Until somebody else ran it over. Ah, that's not bad at all either. Way to go, coated 154 cm. Even though that's bare, there's still no rust on that. This knife doesn't look like it was really used. You don't even see any scratch marks really. A few right there on the blade from where it cut something, but that looks like it was rockware from where it was ran over. I'm not going to take all this apart. I don't want to spend that much time on it. I'm just going to squirt some lighter fluid in there. We'll wipe it around with a Q-tip, and we're going to clean up these washers, which do not look bad, and put it back together. So actually, I've got a bowl of water here. Talk amongst yourselves. I've got my bowl of water right here in my toothbrush. Kind of give it a little 1-2 right here. Alright, that's going to be good enough. If I wanted to edit and stuff, I would really take that to the sink and really scrub it out. This is going to be alright, especially for what it is. I don't have much time. Was just running through. I'm in the shop today actually, trying to wrap a few more projects up, and come across the handle. It was like it was meant to be, and then discovered this that I had thrown in the back of my toolbox. I was like, hey, I haven't made a video in a while. We'll get this uploading before I finish up my projects. This could take, I don't know, 40-minute video might take 4 or 5 hours to upload with my internet. We pay for the higher speed internet and upload speeds, and we do alright. So I just put a bunch of lighter fluid on there. Doesn't look like we have any rust issues going on inside there. Just cleaning that out. Cleaning up that bar. Spin this. That's the axis lock. Slide that down. We can get in these tracks here. Make sure everything looks good. Don't keep contaminating your work. Keep using new Q-tips. That bar is pretty dirty. You know what? I don't want to. It's not that hard, but I think we are going to have to take it down. So you see what I did? This axis lock actually just rides like that on these little springs. And that's kind of, excuse me. I got a bunch of more videos to make. Man, I still have to respond to the cold steel triad versus Sebenza video and all that. But some people say that this is the weakness in this lock. I couldn't argue with that. To me, these are tiny little springs. They can fail. What does Benchmade call these? Omega springs or something like that. Yeah. If you're depending on your saving your life with a folding knife, I think you have the wrong idea. I think the axis lock is just fine for everyday EDC. So I just took it apart so that we could get some of this crap out from around the pivot, because, not the pivot, the axis lock. because I heard it was riding rough, which is understandable, staying outside like that. Again, kind of hard to do this around a camera. And then if you guys know anything about tripods, they have like that long stick off the back. It's like poking right in my face. That's alright. We'll just go with that. So that clips on the outside of that bar. If everything can move nice and smooth there, everything looks clean here. Let's clean out the tracks on the inside there. We'll put this thing back together and maybe do the video in under 40 minutes, huh? What do you say? It's all over the map, man. Some people like long videos. I don't really keep length in mind as long as there's not a lot of dead air, and if I start repeating myself too much, then it's time to just stop, you know? But I don't really care, as most of you guys know. We've already discussed that a few times. Alright, so really the liners, I don't see any signs of rust at all. Maybe right there just a little bit. A bit of lighter fluid on there. I'm just going with it. I'm not going to get crazy on this knife. There's no need. This will be a little beater knife, and who knows where it's going to actually end up. I'm just going to straighten up that blade. Once we get it together here, fix up that blade, sharpen it, take a few minutes, use my power equipment on that. I'm not going to go too crazy. Alright, so here is the stop pin. You can see how that is a shouldered stop pin. How about Benchmade? Oh, put it on the wrong side. See how that's the shiny side? That's going to go on the inside here. How about Benchmade coming out with a G10 Griptilian? Wow. So we're going to feed this through here. I might have to try one of those at some point. Oh, did it backwards. Of course I would. That's going to go in there like that. So it's going to feed through like that. Now we're set. Now that's going to go in there right on the outside. And let's, really didn't need to push that in there yet. Now let's put this back in there, make sure everything's clean on this. We are good to go. Make sure those tracks are clean. That way when you pull that bar back, there's no grinding or anything on there. So we're going to feed this through here. It's a little bit tricky if you've never done it before. See how I'm doing it like this, and then this will flip over. Like that. Now that hooks in that track. Keep it at the bottom. Then hook that shoulder in up here for the stop pin. And slide that bar forward. And now you got your springs that you can push back in that little hole. Not too bad. This video might be a good reference if you ever have to replace your springs here. Benchmade will send them out to you, I believe. At least they used to. So now we've got our bar here. Our axis lock works. Feels nice and smooth. If you wanted to, you could, hold on a second. I do want to, when I've got it right here, throw some Tough Glide. That is a real thin viscosity lube. So it will slide into all those tiny little cracks and stuff. Put it in the channel there, up there, in the bottom channel. And work it a few times before we put it back together. Yeah, close enough. Alright. So, let's clean up the washers here. This is ready to go in the handle. Let's go ahead and take this sucker down right here. I'm going to use a T6, I believe it is. Yes. T6. Body screw, body screw. We'll leave those clip screws in the handle right there for now. And there's our body screws. I'm going to actually keep them registered in the handle here just to save some time. Watch how I'm doing this. See how I got the heads on top? Well, if you're on your own following along, you can take all the time you want. These were brand new. That knife was brand new when it come in. So, see how I did that? Now all these are ready to go and they're registered in the holes. Alright, we actually could, if we wanted to, drop this in the back side here. This is the back side. I'm getting ready to put that smooth pivot in the back side. So we could actually hold this with your finger, drop this in here. You see how Benchmade has that little registration knob right there? And that drops in the liner just to kind of sturdy everything up. And then our screw will actually really tighten that liner down. Look at that. So, set this back down. Oh, lost a screw. Whatever. We'll thread that back in there when we get it together. So this is about ready. We're going to pull that to the side. Might as well go ahead and put our pivot and that on our paper towel. Ooh, we should clean up this pivot too so it can be drying. Somebody said lighter fluid was not good to touch your skin. That's probably correct. I can't imagine you would want to have this on your skin all the time, but I don't know. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. I grew up in a body shop. I've been working with metal pretty much since I was 7, 8 years old. Messing around in my dad's shop, learning how to weld and all that. I know. Crazy. I was raised back in the day with no internet. I know. Not too long ago. I'm only 33. So we used to go out and do stuff. Not just play video games. Let's get this cleaned. Video games. I love video. Channeling Hank Hill there. Sorry, getting a little goofy. Video games. No, I like video games a lot. And my kids would much rather be outside than playing video games. But there is quite a change. Back in my day, I know I've got friends who could be my father, you know. Older than me, so I'm just a child to them. But anyways, you guys know who you are. Anyways, though, back in my day, really, we just used to disappear with our BB guns. And we would come back when it started to get dark. No cell phones. Every now and then you might call in and your parents just kind of knew you was out with your friends and, you know, you was out in the woods. And we would walk for miles. Miles. In the woods by ourselves. I know, different times. I don't know if it's for the better or worse. I lost my train of thought. What are we doing? We got that cleaned up. Washers. Just different times, you know. I hate to be one of those old guys, you know. I don't know if that's for the better or worse of the society because it's just different, you know. I have, oh, that cleaned up really well. I have 4 children, and we let them go outside. If I were to pan you guys up just a little bit, well, I'd have to take out the tripod and stuff and show you the backyard. We do kind of live in the city, but we're also in the woods, kind of. So my kids can just kind of go back. We can still see them and hear them, but they'll go back there and play laser tag or take their little fake guns or their slingshots and go back there and play with the neighborhood kids and all that stuff. So we kind of let them have that, but they definitely do not have the freedom that I had as a child, and I don't think I could let them with good conscience. So if you can see what I'm doing, you guys have already seen this a few times if you're a fan of the channel. If you are, I appreciate it, really. I've just flipped my 306 Spyderco Ultra Fine Stone backwards. I don't know why, it's just something with me. I don't like using this soft bronze phosphor on the front face of this stone, so I use the back side of the stone for this. And keep the front side for sharpening my steel. Now, does that really matter? Probably not. So, anyways, I'm not looking for a perfect mirror polish. I just want this thing to open and close nice so I can beat up on it. Or maybe I'll send it back to Joe and he can beat up on it just as a thank you. Joe's done a lot of things for the channel that, you know, a lot of people don't know. A lot of people have. I've got a lot of good friends, and there's a lot of guys who this channel wouldn't exist without them. I kind of get the occasional email or comment like, "Whoa, you know, holy cow, what do you do for a living to afford all those knives?" Well, I don't really say it because I don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over again. Most of you guys know, but a lot of the knives, I'd say a good at least 50% that I show on this channel are not my knives. They are here for some sort of service of some sort. So without those knives coming in, man, it would just be a boring channel. I just keep showing the same things over and over again. Or, I'm not talking about no other channels, but I would just start reviewing cheaper knives, which gets a lot of views. They really do. And you compare up with GearBest or somebody like that, and they'll send you free crap. And then, you know, do you really get an honest review? I know there's a few reviewers who are extremely popular who do that. Take free product, and you're supposed to disclaim, you know, tell everybody. It's supposed to be a disclaimer saying that you received that product for review, and that, you know, if it was a paid review or not, which I never have. I have never done a paid review. I have received, over my, 5-7 years now doing this, I've received 2 knives from a manufacturer to review. And one of them I haven't even done yet. One's a GEC that I got a while back. I still owe that to Bill Howard over there, that review. If anybody's wondering, it was the, is it Hawksbill? Oh, what is that? The Farm and Field series, Hawkbill, with the glow-in-the-dark handle on. It's an awesome knife. I wanted to put some use on it. I'll get to it. I'll get to it in the next month or two, next few weeks. But anyways, look forward to that. So, here's where we're at right now. If we can get it to focus. There you go. Not too shabby. A lot better than it was. And I think it's going to be good enough to clean up the action on this guy. So let's get it together. I'm going to make sure one more time that this blade is clean. And the channel inside of it is clean. We've already cleaned all of our other parts. I feel like we're a little bit ahead of schedule here. Only 22 minutes in. If you guys are still hanging out, man, I appreciate it. I know these videos are not for everybody, but I get a lot of requests to do them. Oh man, I forgot a toothpick. How in the world could I do that? Alright. We'll use this as a toothpick. That's my EDC for today. My Bowie. Just cut that off at an angle. You use that as a toothpick to put my SFL0 on here. Does not take much at all. Put some in the hole there. Put some here. Man, I would have rather had my toothpick. Alright, I'm going to put some on the channel here, just so that the axis lock, and I'm not going to put any up here. It'll make its way up there. I just want to see if I can smoothen the action a little bit here. Pick the smoothest side to put on the blade. Kind of wiggle that around. It's going to stick a lot like some glue. Right, we're fine there. And alright, pick a side. I got that or that. I think we'll go with that side. Actually, we'll go with this side. This side looks like it was already mated to the knife with the, you see that circular scratch on there. Put that on there, wiggle it around. And I had somebody ask me in a video back, if you really don't want these washers, like the point of these washers is not really to spin, why would you put lube on the back side? You really don't have to, but I like to, just for extra insurance, because that washer can spin. It's just not the main idea of the washer is for it to spin. That's why sometimes you'll see even custom knives are blasted on the inside of the handle. Say there's blasted titanium handle, right? Let's just say this is blasted titanium. It's not like they have to mask off a mirror polish inside these scales. Of course, your action probably has a better chance of being better if even the titanium is smooth on there, but you really don't have to. those bronze phosphor washers actually provide that surface that is supposed to self-lubricate, but you know, it's always better with a little bit of lubrication on there. That's what she said. Burr, burr, burr. Zing, got him. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but we gotta have fun, right? Okay, so what the plan here is, this is a little bit tricky. I actually could go overkill and wipe some more SFL 0 inside there, but I don't want to do that. So this is tricky and possibly doesn't work all the time. I know. So what I'm going to do, just to make it just a little bit easier, is I will go ahead and put this reverse screw in here. This tip will work for all axis lock. Well, all Griptilians. I'm picking the best screw to go on the front, so I'm going to use the really scraped up one for the back side. Again, doing all this through the viewfinder with that stick in my face of the tripod is not very fun. Alright, so now these aren't going to fall out. And what we're going to have to do is move this up a little bit. We're going to slide this whole unit in here and try not to disturb those washers. And then we're going to sink in this pivot, which is locked down by the D shape. So good job on that. We're going to start that in there. Again, this is the trickiest part. So you don't want it to come all the way through. You want to leave it right there and ready to push through. So leave it about right there. Actually, let's try it this way first. Let's try it this way first. Out with the pivot. This is probably not going to work. Hold down the washers in this. Slide this in here. It might work. Now this axis lock is in the way, so you almost have to have 5 hands to do this, right? I'm going to drop this in here so I can register that with the washers. Okay? I'm going to slide this axis lock back. And remember, we have to have this handle on because it's going to get locked down by this pivot when we slide it in there. So I'm going to do a whole bunch of steps right here, and I'm not going to be able to talk because, again, you really need 5 hands to do this correct. Pull this back. That relieves some of the tension on there. I'm going to move this in circles. And I'm going to hope that this whole unit doesn't fall out. Right now, if I let go of that spring, I know that flat side is on the bottom there. I'll try to feed this through here. Oh man, could it go easy? Can it go easy? I don't think so. Nope, nope, nope. See, it's already getting off. Huh? I think we made it. We did it. We did it. Victory. Okay, so let's make sure we got all of our washers. Yep. See all of my washers are in there? Let me get my pointer out. Carrying this little guy today too. Got a video on that too. What do I think about the Rexford Rut? Washers in there, good. Washers in there, good. We're good to go. Let's screw this bad boy back together. Look at that action. Holy smokers. Let's put the lid back on it. Here's inside your Griptilian. We'll put the lid on it. I'm going to thread the pivot down but not tighten it. So we're just going to put it in there and catch a few threads on it and get it when it first starts to catch a little bit of resistance. I will stop. I'm not going to open it and close it all the way yet. I'm going to put that in there. Put the body screws in, and yes, these are all the same length. This is all the same thickness all the way down. Made that mistake when we were putting together the swish bowie here, but I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. Put that in there, here, here, and tighten it. Not tighten it, we're just going to get it just barely snug. Barely snug. We're going to see where the centering's at because there's still a few centering tricks we can do. stress that enough. Do not go full tight. As soon as it gets resistance, stop. We're just trying to get the knife together first. It is not very smooth at all. Maybe I got that pivot just a little too tight. Which I shouldn't, it's barely tight. Or maybe it was ran over with a truck. Not bad. Not bad. Alright, what we're going to do is tighten up the handle. Let's see where we're at with centering. And not good. Not good. Let's tighten up the handle and see what that does. You see what I did though? I just bent it. Sometimes you have to do that. I've adjusted Mercedes doors by bending them. Sometimes you just have to. Sometimes the parts are not made exactly correct. Sometimes the weather will warp the metal just slightly. You know, stuff happens. I wouldn't suggest it. That wouldn't be my first way to fix blade centering, is bend the handle, no. But it's an option. Alright, so we got those pretty tight. Ooh, that did the action a lot better. Let's see what the centering's looking like. Not too bad. Alright. We're going to do one centering trick here. It's been 31 minutes. Alright. If I remember right, this knife was not centered when it come to me for the Wilkins grip. This knife here. So possibly these handles are just slightly out of spec. That's very possible. But let me show you one little trick that you can try. What we're going to try is the old skew the scale trick. And to do that, we need to loosen up all of the screws just slightly. Just like a quarter turn. All of them. First of all, I should have remembered which way it was. Oh, we got to walk the blade over this way, which means we have to push up on this side of the scale. Up on this. And this one's got to come down. What that's going to do, if this is the pivot inside the blade right here, one walks up, one walks down. Looks what happens to that pivot. Walks the blade over. See? Here's an extreme version. Here's what we're really going to do. It's just barely noticeable. Right? We're going to move that pivot over a little. So, loosen up all the screws. Maybe a full turn. Maybe. You'll feel it. Then I'm going to push up on this side of the scale. I'm going to pull down on this. See how the blade already wants to go center? Then before I tighten up the pivot, I got to lock these handles together, skew just a little bit. And it's not even enough to really notice. So I think the best way to do that would be to start at the rear of the handle. Again, keeping pressure on these, one going up, one going down. We're going to lock this in. Now a little bit more than snug right here because we actually got to lock it down. I'm going to do this too just to get a little bit of more pressure on there. We're not totally tight yet, but we are pretty snug. I'm going to snug these guys up, and then I'm going to snug the pivot and see where we're at with our centering. And if all else fail, we will banana this handle just a slight little bit. Make sure that's still tight. Still a little bit tight. Not bad. Could go a little bit tighter. It's important to find this where you want your action and then see where your centering is. That's not like a normal Benchmade action right there, but I didn't really expect it to be. I mean, it's been, who knows, when this got ran over, and it clearly got ran over, this bar could have bent a little bit too. It seems to be working fine, but who knows? Who knows what's really going on? Who knows if it'll break in or how new the knife was? Let's see how the centering is. That does feel good though. Ooh, still a little bit better, but not great. So what I'm going to do is tighten up these screws the rest of the way, and we're going to just bend the handle the rest of the way there. It's fun to make videos. I'm glad to be back. Hopefully I can still crank out a couple videos a week. That'd be real nice. I definitely have enough content and stuff I want to show you guys and do. Maybe some more of these breakdown tips and trick type videos. I know what's cool is I had a few comments on the other video, or other couple of videos like this, where people, you know, kind of do the maintenance to their knife with this kind of playing in the background, which is cool. I mean, I dig it. I dig it. Here we go. Took the screws out, which doesn't affect anything, but I'm going to put the pocket clip on. So I'm going to bend this handle like this, which is going to walk that blade this way. See that? I'm going to start up near the pivot and then walk my way back towards the rear. And walk it back up. Look at that. Now it's a little bit too far, so we can bend it back. And these are plastic handles. This does work with a lot of knives, but seems to work better with these FRN blades. But you can do it. I've done it with paramilitary 2s, and it really doesn't work with Sabenzas, and maybe when you get your Wilkins titanium on there. You know, there's a difference in build when you start to put these skinnier, flimsier, lighter weight materials on there. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tickled to death right now fixing this little guy up, getting it back in the pocket. Let's go ahead and put the clip on it, call it a day. Maybe I'll make another video when I show the edge and what I do with that. The serrations still feel sharp, so I just feel like it wasn't very used to start with. Oh no, we're getting stripped right there because it's so mauled. So anyways, I might have to go to my grinder or my drill press and get that screw out. It might not work. Let's try it one more time. Let's see if we can actually, well, that would be tightening it. Let's see if it'll spin loose this way. No, maybe. Yeah, it's just spinning. It feels like this plastic insert is spinning in there. Okay, well, 40 minutes, not going to waste anybody's time. Hold on. Nope. Yeah, it's not moving. I'm going to have to grind that. No, it is moving. That's the problem. Working behind this camera here, I can't really see what's going on. Alright, good thing we're replacing those screws, because that screw is garbage. We got it off. Alright, let's put the new screws on here. If you guys know my clip trick, put your screws in there to start with. Oh, that's a ground up one. And here's the other new one. Look at that. Huh? Put that in here. We have a functional Griptilian after it gets sharp again. Fix that blade tip. Get it back into EDC, into cutting stuff, into a useful knife again. That's cool though. You know what? A knife with a story is cool. Really cool. What do you think, Joe? How do we do? Oh, we're going to have to fix the clip. Like it got ran over by a truck. That's an easy fix though. Take this off, bend it back. If we wasn't going on 40 minutes, I would do that. Very simple. I know you guys have caught your clip on stuff and bent it out. So there it is. All fixed up. I'm very happy with it. Very Benchmade like now. Look. I don't want to hit my camera or my tripod. You get the point. Lock up nice and solid. No up and down. Literally nothing. Side to side, nothing. There's a little bit of flex in the nylon handle here. But there's no play. Good job. And Benchmade, holy cow. Your knife got destroyed, ran over by a truck. Sat outside for who knows how long. And with the replacement of some busted up scales, it's still a knife. Wow. You know, it would have been interesting, too, to send that all busted up to Benchmade and just see what would happen or what they would charge to repair it. Anyway, I'm not like that. I do not take advantage of people's warranty services like that. Alright, so the video cut off at 30 minutes anyway, so I already have to edit. So I figured I'd just put in the finished result for you guys. Just went ahead and sharpened it up a little bit, or a lot of bit. Got the edge looking nice, very sharp. Look how I touched up the front there, put a little swedge on it. I noticed when I thickened it up, it was when I put the new tip on there, it thickened up. You see that swedge? So the swedge helped thin it out a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. So you can see, this is the same blade shape here. You see I did have to take a little bit off the tip there to make it again, but I did save what edge was there. I'd almost always rather do that, bring the spine down to create the new tip than to bring the edge back, because if you bring the edge back, you're getting into a thicker portion of the grind, and then your edge will get real thick near the edge and all that. So I'd rather bring this down, which is what we did, and then it was thick in here, so I put the swedge on it. I like that swedge look. I might have to swedge this one. If I ever get the time, I still want to redo this one 100%. So there you go. I also fixed the clip on there, tighten that up. Not too tight, not too loose, not rattling, and I also put a quick little lanyard on here. So there is the finished result. Oh yeah, and I flipped it a few times, and action is there. So it just took a little bit of setting the parts by a few hard flicks, spreading around all that SFL0 lube on there. Get a look at the serrations. I touched those up with the cardboard wheels. I don't know if you can see them, they're shiny, they're hard. And then I laid it down really low. There's a little bit of melted paracord on my thumb. That's alright. And then I buffed the back side just real quick, just a quick light pass. And they're very sharp right now. And I actually cut the paracord with the serrated edge here to put on the back. Cool stuff. It's fun. That was a fun project. I don't know who stayed along for the full and total ride, but I do appreciate it.